Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Star Citizen video. I am AeroDox, and joining me as my gunner today is Malterror. And today's video is all about bounty contracts. What are bounty contracts? How do we do them? And how tough are they? We're going to go through all of that right now, so let's roll the intro and prepare for a few G's. So tell me, are you looking for some action? Are you itching to jump into a pilot seat and rain terror down on criminals of the galaxy with ballistic or perhaps even laser-like firepower? Does the thought of blowing up other people's ships and getting paid sound like a good time to you? If so, then we need to talk about bounty contracts. Bounty hunting contracts are either PvE contracts that require you to travel to and eliminate a hostile NPC at a fixed location, or to track down a hostile player with a crime stat of 1 or more and eliminate the target within UEE monitored space. Altogether, there are 6 tiers of bounties available for players to take on. These include the very low risk targets, or VLRTs. We've got the low risk targets, which are LRTs. We've got the moderate risk targets, which are MRTs. High risk targets, which are HRTs. Very high risk targets, which are VHRTs, and extreme risk targets, which are ERTs. Now, right out of the gate, you're only going to have access to the VLRT mission types. The VLRT missions only pay 4,000 AUEC per contract. However, as you gain reputation, you eventually unlock the extreme risk target contracts, which pay you 25k per contract. In order to qualify for the first tier of bounty contracts, you're going to need to navigate to your contracts menu, and inside of the bounty tab, look for a contract titled Tracker Training Permit. This mission will cost you 500 AUEC, and if you successfully complete the contract, you will then qualify for regular VLRT contracts. Eventually down the line, you're going to unlock more permits and licenses which determine what bounty contracts you qualify for. On your screen now are a list of the names of each permit or license and how much AUEC it costs to qualify for them. Feel free to pause the video and move on when you're ready. Okay, so now we know the difference between target types, permits, and licenses, but you want to know how to actually do them. First things first, we're going to open up our contracts menu, then we're going to navigate down here to our bounty hunter tab, and for this video, we're just going to take on a VLRT target. Once we accept the contract, we're going to get in our ships, quantum drive over to our target, and slowly fly our way in. As we get closer and closer, eventually we're going to get the red wing symbol, and then we're going to do our best to take this target out. We're going to go ahead and lock onto him, probably send a couple of missiles at him, and eventually, through just a little bit of combat, he's going to bite the dust. Honestly, that's as complicated as these contracts get. About the only thing that changes as you take on higher and higher risk targets, aside from the pay, is the NPC's combat abilities. Basically, they get more and more aggressive as you rise through the tiers, and not long after you take on the initial set of bounties required to move on to the low risk targets, the bounties begin to have more and more ships that accompany them as you try to take them down. After you unlock medium risk targets, you may find it easier to enlist a fellow player or even a friend as a gunner and pick up a ship that has turrets that they can man to add some additional firepower. There are also missions from time to time where you will be required to head out to a location and then hunt your bounty on foot. These are basically just like the mercenary missions. If you look at your contracts and read them before you accept them, these missions will mention the need for combat gear or ground transport. Additionally, there will also be group warrant bounties you'll eventually unlock, where you are tasked with taking down a group of targets altogether, and these pay pretty well and include bonuses, but they can also be fairly dicey. If you're going to go into a bounty mission and you think it's possible you won't survive, one thing I can suggest is to only bring your undersuit and helmet along for the journey so that you won't lose any gear or weapons you want to keep in the event that you do die. Eventually down the line, you're going to have the opportunity to take on the Suspect Apprehension Certification contract. Doing this mission and successfully completing it will unlock the ability for you to go out and collect bounties on players who have a crime stat of 1 or higher. You can also run into missions where you have to take down a group of players. These missions can get a little bit complex because they can be anywhere in the system and you never know how good or bad they might be at ship combat. Doing these missions may require you to think about your ship in terms of components. Things like quantum drives can affect how easily you are able to get to your target and determine if you need to make stops along the way or if you can just jump almost straight to them. Doing these missions can also be a race against time for you because the chances are fairly good that they are out there attempting to rid themselves of their crime stat by hacking it away. So you will in most cases need to act fast and sometimes anticipate where your target is going so that you can catch up to them, end them, and finally get paid. And that's really all there is to talk about with bounty contracts. Most of your success here is going to be determined by your skill in ship-to-ship combat and possibly your ability to outwit your targets, and as you gain more and more experience with ship combat, you're going to find these missions get easier and easier over time. They can also be a really good way of gathering up fellow players and making money as a group. Now that you guys know just about everything there is to know about bounty contracts, we want to congratulate you guys on your newfound knowledge, as well as making it to the end of this video, and wish you luck out there during your dogfights. On top of that, we also want to ask you guys to like this video if you enjoyed it, and definitely let us know what other videos you guys would like to see us make next time, as well as beg you to smash that subscribe button, and remember to hit the notification bell so that you guys can be notified whenever we release a new video. We are a fairly new channel, so every bit of love you guys can show us will definitely make our day. And finally, we hope to see you guys all out in the verse soon, and above all else, don't forget your med pens. Peace.